That's a good question, and I definitely feel I feel that responsibility somewhat because I'll get to these places and people will expect me to know about it. I think when you're a band that tackles politics, people expect you to know everything about it, and I don't claim to, you know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of what Rise Against is just our gut instincts, how we feel about things, and so I'll try to, just, and as a traveler, I want to know more about the place I'm going to, because when I find out about its history after I've left, I'm always really bummed out. So I do a fair amount of due diligence. Yeah, I think what you just said, I think a lot of the problems that we talk about know no border. There are problems that every place has, problems that every country has. And right, yeah, there's all kinds. But like capitalism, violence, dissent in each country, freedom of speech, all these issues, quality of life, all these different issues that are happening. A lot of them affect each country. When I write songs, I'm not just writing about America. I'm writing about the world. I think I see those issues more as a person who travels a lot, like someone who I do than the average American. I think the average American doesn't really. Yeah, I think that's like, and I was that American for so long. I was that really ethnocentric kind of stuck on my own borders and not really knowing a lot about the world outside. And America is a place where you're brought up believing that you are number one. You know what I mean? The rest of the world is like waiting to see what you do. I think probably the first time Rise Against started touring outside of America was mind-blowing for me, you know what I mean? To really kind of look back at my country through the lens of somebody else's country, and then realize how small and insignificant you really are, and how there's so much of the world that is just, like touring Europe, for instance, cultures, civilizations that are so much older than our own, and in a lot of ways have things figured out a lot better than Americans do. And it's funny to listen to, like, I remember being in Australia once while America was having really rabid debates about universal health care, and I'm watching the news in my Australian hotel room, on some Australian channel, and they're talking about universal health care as if they're inventing the wheel, as if no one's ever done it, and here's what could happen. And I remember thinking, like, I'm in a country that has it, yeah, and and they have their complaints, but it's not like it's Mad Max here, you know what I mean? Like, people are doing all right, and so it's such an American trait to like believe that you're inventing the wheel on all these issues that other countries figured out generations ago. I mean, that's like, I would say younger than. It's on the scale of worldwide countries, it's somewhere on the younger side of the country. But yeah, I mean, it's just to see it through that lens, you really, it blows your mind, and then you realize I wish like traveling outside of the States was mandatory. It was like everyone needs to do a trip. You're right, that would probably be it. a lot of jet fuel it would take to take every American outside of the country. But that's a good question. The entertainment part is there. I can't deny it. I'm on a stage jumping around for someone who bought a ticket. We write the songs. We write the best songs we can write. We like songs that we like. We write songs that we think people will like, because we know that without good songs and without some sort of entertaining quality, no one will ever hear our message. You know what I mean? If we were just activists, Ramfest wouldn't have invited us here tonight. You know what I mean? Or if they would have, we would have been in a side tent somewhere. You know, we have access to, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people around the world because of our art, you know, our music, and that's something that I'm not quick to dismiss or deny. You know, like we're artists and we write songs, write the best songs we can, because that way they can be a vehicle for the politics, a vehicle for the message, and that's assuming the listener even wants to hear it. You know, like that we have listeners and we have fans who are just casual fans who, you know, the politics are kind of like, whatever, I just want something to work out to on a treadmill. You do, because I was that fan too, where I was listening to bands and I didn't really understand all of it right away, but then when it clicked, when it seeped in, whether that was through personal experience, that, you know, all of a sudden I referenced some Minor Threat lyric and it was like, oh, that's what he was talking about, you know? Like, you hope that you can be a part of that chain, you know?